All right, everyone, to CNN's legacy media credit, they are now the first MSM outlet to pop the question. They're the first ones to seriously ask it. Is Joe Biden too old to be the president of the United States? Now, what that really means, because CNN is the Clinton News Network, what that really means is Joe Biden too old to campaign against Donald Trump, and would he lose in a spectacular fashion because of that? The answer is yeah, I think he would. It would be like asking Ronald Reagan to run for a third term. It wouldn't have worked. And the Gipper's qualifications a little bit higher than Joe Biden's. Joe Biden is running on a nostalgia platform. He's running on a platform of, hey, I'm the other guy in the room. He's got name recognition. He's like, hey, I was Obama's go-to guy. I was the #2 guy in the country already. I've been in the Oval Office. And basically the light of Obama, according to liberals, shines upon him, sort of rubs off a little bit and gives him that Obama-era mystique. That's why 25 to 33%, between a quarter and a third of Democrats, are supporting him. It's about 20% of the Democrats, about 1 in 5 Democrats appear to form a hardened floor for Biden, below which it would be very hard for him to sink. That's pretty good. In such a crowded field where you technically have 4 other viable candidates, that means that his initial share is an equal share to all of them if they were themselves equal in a race with no lower tier individuals in it. Like if everyone else dropped out and they divided everything equally, they'd all be at 20%. His floor is at 20% in a crowded race which isn't equally distributed. That's his floor. And his long-term, his usual floor is closer to 25 to 30. That's sort of where he's been gravitating at, and he's on the upswing right now. Now, we'll see it tonight. Is a very important test. If Joe Biden has another low-energy, kind of muddled debate performance, you're going to see increased anxiety about his age. You're going to see increased questions about it coming from the left-wing media. That will hurt him. The Me Too stuff, obviously, with his tendency to schmooze with children and old women, that didn't hurt him. His gaffes before when he says weird shit, those temporarily hurt him, but then he sort of rises back up because people get a little bit pissed. They're like, well, I'm pissed at Joe. He said something dumb. Then they get over it because then all of the other Democrats say weirder shit because they're socialists by and large. But that could hurt him. I mean, if in an electability election, if it looks like Joe Biden is geriatric, he's getting dementia, he doesn't know quite where he is or what he's doing, what's going to happen is people are going to say, even if I like his platform, even if I like that he was in the Obama administration, even if I like the fact that he's not nuts like some of these other people, can he win? But the problem is, if you're part of that hardened base, if you're a hardened Joe Biden fan at this point, considering he's 76 years old, considering he's gaffe prone, considering he is so obviously unelectable, you probably are going to have problems getting on board with some of these other campaigns. The problem is, without Joe Biden, there are only 4 other viable contenders. 3 of them are very far left. That is Kamala Harris, extremely far left. Sanders, dedicated socialist, very far left. Warren, increasingly further left than Sanders, arguably. And then Buttigieg, who's sort of the 5th wheel. He's never risen to the double digits in the aggregate. He's viable. He's been above 5 consistently. But he's not really that viable, and he keeps going further left too, like with more reparations and stuff. The problem is, if I'm a Biden fan, if I support Obamacare plus a little tinkering, I support a little bit of taxes on just the tippy tops for a little bit more welfare. I support basically maintaining the status quo, except that Trump won't be in the White House. Basically, hey, we're going to keep doing everything the same, except I'm going to levy a little bit more business tax. I'm going to do one little tiny tweak to Obamacare, and that's basically all I want to do. That's what he's campaigning on. Those are the only main proposals he's made. Think about that. It's a platform-free election. There is no platform there. That's all he's running on. The only other thing that any of these people have is, we're not Trump. I'm not Trump. Replace Trump with me, says Biden, and the status quo continues except for these 2 little things. They're not major. He's got no major platform for reform. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, all these people. Replace Trump with me and I'll usher in socialism. If you support the Biden platform, the getting rid of Trump thing, that's common across the whole Democratic field. That's not a problem. Everything else, though, doesn't coincide with any of these other main players. They are talking about drastic change. If you're a Biden voter, you don't want drastic change. You just want Trump gone. That's my reading of it anyway. But Biden is so massively old. It's not clear. Like, let's say he manages to hold on during this debate, does well enough to stay in, he keeps on at the same level. He becomes kind of the presumptive nominee if he has a good night. If he has a really good debate performance, he's probably sealed the deal. He's ahead in all 4 of the starting states, although I wish they would do more fucking polling there. It's like Emerson comes out with a national poll. They don't do anything in Iowa or New Hampshire. Nobody's done anything. I think the latest, a week ago, there was a poll in South Carolina, and there were a couple of polls in Iowa, and I think that's the latest we've gotten. It's really, really anemic polling this particular season. You got a legendary level election fraught with massive political discord, and barely any polling from the starting states. Give me something to work with. Give me some more numbers. Jesus Christ. But he's ahead in those states. If he's on the upswing coming out of the second debate and doesn't do anything else particularly cringeworthy, he probably can rise to 40 and stay there. He wins. If he goes into Iowa riding a tailwind, or at least if he's at 30 roughly in the aggregate, he will win Iowa. That solves the electability issue. He goes into New Hampshire. If he can swipe it from Sanders, he knocks him out. He goes on with probably a clean sweep. That's probably what happens. He should probably focus all of his effort on those first 2 states. He's got a massive advantage in South Carolina, so that one's not as important to campaign as Hardin. Go there a couple times, certainly, but focus most of your effort there. And in Nevada, that knocks Warren out. But the thing is, if Warren loses the first 2 states, she's going to begin to decline, I think, in an electability election. That's really what it boils down to. But, I mean, we've got to see if he can even have a good debate performance. He has his speaking slots when he's in public, when he's giving speeches. He's been kind of boring, listless. It doesn't look like Joe Biden maybe 10 years ago, certainly, energetic and so forth. It looks like an old man. It looks worse than with Bernie Sanders, who's a couple years older. Bernie Sanders can still get fiery. He comes off as grumpy great-grandpa, but at least he's capable of being energetic. Biden really doesn't. It's like when he said, well, I'll challenge Trump to a push-up contest. No, you're not. You're in your mid-70s, dude. If you tried to have a push-up contest with Trump, you'd both have fucking coronaries. You're not going to challenge him to jack shit. It'd be really funny if his tough guy approach, if Trump antagonized him, like let's say he becomes nominee, which thankfully he's likely to do. It'd be funny to see Trump do the thing where he stalks around the stage, like in the second debate with Clinton, and then he tries to antagonize Biden into being aggressive, acting threatening, or like, oh, get away from me, I'd like to shove you, and stuff like that. That would be a great way to destroy his campaign. And it'll probably happen because it's in Trump's MO to lure people in and to basically dig their own graves and stuff like that. Joe Biden is too old. He can't win the general election. No, I don't think so. Trump would have to make far more mistakes, like an economic downturn. We'd have to have like a recession or a major foreign policy blunder, a war or something. That could sink Trump's election chances. But, I don't see that on the horizon. Assuming the economy doesn't crash, everything else is ultimately in Trump's total control to prevent it from happening. The N-word tapes, nobody cares. Stormy Daniels and the Russia bullshit. By the way, the DNC's lawsuit just got thrown out by a federal judge saying, it's entirely without merit. Your own lawsuit only alleges that Russia interfered. Doesn't even allege that the Trump campaign did anything. So for them to publish this information, or for WikiLeaks to do it, it's legal! Hey, guess what? The First Amendment exists! That's a huge win for Trump. Almost warrants a 5th video. Too bad I've got things I've got to do. And fucking crazy talk. And the Democrats are walking right into a trap. They've pushed Al Sharpton and AOC to the front of the party. They've sacked the DCCC director. They've got Rahm Emanuel telling them that they've got fucking problems. Michael Moore is saying, yeah, by the way, every day that goes on, Trump's more likely to get elected. Come to your senses. Can you go find a JFK or something like that so people can consider voting for you? Because Biden would be, if Biden were 30 years younger, and the perverted part JFK fulfills, never mind. If he were 30 years younger, then maybe, he'd be able to campaign against Trump, it'd be good. But the other Democrats, they keep, bringing up stupid shit, well, you worked with segregationists 40 years ago. Yeah, he worked on legislation with his fellow legislators. Big fucking whoop. Wow. None of these people did at the time. Kamala Harris was too busy at the time being a little kid and later would go on to try to jail people for simple drug possession. 12 months in prison for this black person. He smoked marijuana. That'll scare him straight, says Kamala Harris, as she overlooks the fact that now he's learning how to make a shiv and join a prison gang. And meanwhile, Trump passing comprehensive prison reform. Yeah, he's the racist. He's a bigot. He's a terrible bully. Horrible person. Terrible. That's about all. Peace out.